Niji. Niji. This is one of Sanji's older brothers. He has blue hair. His name's Niji. As little kids, he was told to jump off the roof or out off the, building, right? And test, like, to see if he could, like, survive the fall. It was not no, like, small building. This shit was, like, high. I don't know how high, like, probably over 100 feet high. I don't know how high. But they were supposed to jump off of it. Niji jumped off before Sanji and then looked up and was like, Sanji, you're next. Do what you gotta do. Sanji couldn't do it. So then, later on he was like, okay, since you're weak, I'll let our brother beat you up and then I'll start beating you up too. You gotta, like, show some fucking skills. And then, later on, we came back to the family, just to, like, help them out with, their ends. They want more power on the seas. They want to have Big Mom's backing. So he's gonna marry, or Sanji's gonna marry Pudding, and then both of their families are gonna, like, unite against everybody else. Essentially, it's how they viewed it and everything else, and they were gonna have more power on the seas. He threw, like, he was gonna beat up some, or he did. He beat up one of the ladies. He's like, this is some slop. You didn't make us some good food. We need fed better than this. He was gonna throw the plate at her, but then Sanji stepped in the way and was like, I will not let this food go to waste. I'm sure it's good. Niji's like, what? Why are you gonna eat this slop? She created some food that shouldn't be consumed. She should be punished for shit like that. Niji is the blue brother, right? He fought against some Big Mom pirates too. When Big Mom lost her mind and other things, they were trying to escape. Sanji helped them escape, after everything was said and done. And he was kind of, like, surprised, a little bit. After all we've done, you're going to do that for us. Your weak ass is going to, and he's like, well, I don't like you guys, but you're still kind of my family. And I don't want you to ever be like, I never, never did anything for you. I allowed you to, or helped you escape too. Or they helped him escape as well, but, he didn't want to see his family die. Niji is, not the weakest, but he is out of the brothers. I know that. I know Niji's the weakest out of that. 85 for the strength, 85 for his speed, 85 for his durability, 85 for his endurance, and 83 for his intelligence. But the 85 for his experience and 84 for his close skills. 85 for the range skills and 84 for his recoup. 85 for his hacks. 84.6 for Niji. Be cool, corner on corner.